Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Now who am I to keep you down? I need to read the lyrics some more. Yeah, I'm stopped right there. Then I just don't remember anymore. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac and the others who sing that song as well. So I would like to say that I am at the threatening where my soul, the superior founder, said, I don't want to get pregnant. Like, be pregnant. I don't want to show a pregnancy, be pregnant. I don't actually know what to do in the event of a pregnancy. For the response to the question, I want sex, it's just what I need, said Howard Chait. That means I don't actually alive myself at the time of the question, in the presence of the questioner, what I would do in the event of a sexual assault causing a pregnancy, and I am the female. I'm not the male. That means I don't know in that question as myself, with myself. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't actually want to. Yeah, I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant. I don't know what to do with the pregnancy, and I am myself. I must be myself. So it's not fair. Yep, I did get hurt as God, and when I'm done, I don't actually have a problem is not true. This is a happy cow until it's not happy anymore because it didn't survive itself. This cow has a showing right there. That's the genitals on the cow illegal. And it's true that they don't afford the money. The ones who are in the leverage for this cow to be happy don't afford the money that it's right on the stock. Because I killed the stock, I knew I would because I need myself deceased out of the formed world. And I have to decease myself. And I don't think you are fair with the many interruptions and I want to say obstructions of myself's due process to be deceased by myself because I am myself. When you challenge myself with your questions, I'm not sure why they're directed at myself because I must decease myself in my leverage, not just that you are yourselves and you don't believe in me and you have some kind of an attack plan against myself. Well, I thought what you did was really hurtful, and it was separating myself from the creation of myself, and I need to be created. And I didn't actually start it with you. Oh, yeah, I don't need to be created. Well, maybe you do things against the creator of yourself that I would not answer with the creation of myself in is like alive for me. It's going on is myself. I am myself. I don't actually answer your questions that you make with yourselves about the order with myself. And I don't have a way to be free of you anymore, except that I have to decease myself out of the order. And I did that, and I'm still in due process of leaving the formed world myself. Excuse me, and I have to decease the door locking to decease myself out of ever being inside of, within door locking ever again. Ever, like an eternity. A superior founder is deceased the wrong way. This milk is truly for myself deceased, it's not really for the ones who paid for it and put leverage on it that they're not going to have any sort of problems. They're more than not going to jail with that they bought me food. They're not going to have any problems with one another. And I didn't say that. And they're very physically threatening to myself with shock paddles in a hospital. Apparently they have seen shock paddles go off in a hospital. Well, that's you. I don't think you should ask me more than once if the shock paddles are going off on me in the hospital, because I think I'm going to say it right here. When I'm deceased out of the door locking, I'm going to decease all the shock paddles is not true. I'm going to decease the first question about shock paddles, and that will be in, the Buffalo Grove, Illinois problem was going to an emergency room from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, and the drive was something like estimate about 30 minutes to get from the house in Buffalo Grove to the emergency room. So it could have been another suburban area of Illinois, and I don't know. The emergency room didn't tell me where I was, and I was not the driver. My dad drove, and my mom was in the passenger seat. And I didn't want to get in the car, but they were in the house, and they didn't call 911. They said, Aunt Denise said, should we dial 911? And maybe they weren't really expected to answer that question ever. They didn't whip out their cell phones and just dial 911. Well, I told them I needed to leave the house because I'm trespassing, and I can't be just outside because she just threatened to call the police that I'm trespassing. I need to go to the medical emergency, she said, upstairs. Because I don't have a medical emergency, the hospital should turn me away. Well, they didn't turn me away. They stole me out of my emotion. I told them I don't have health insurance, and they don't know that in the house. It was due to say that in the emergency room. Year 2005 in the summer. So I am deceasing the shock paddles. Um, uh, for the first question, that I didn't know about the shock paddles. I didn't find out about them until I died outside homeless. After that, started doing the writing videos, everything I was doing for myself deceased as an illegal alive adultery of the soul of the superior founder deceased. That's how I found out about the shock paddles. But they're not due in public. No, they're due in prisons upstate, like a gun. If you have a gun, it's due in a prison upstate to decease the address. And then if you have shock paddles, you're due to, if you're the doctor that has the shock paddles, you have to take them in a car until you find a prison upstate. And if you don't find one, you need to turn them into a jail. Well, that's how you're the doctor. You can either drive directly to a prison that has a hospital in its prison, or you can turn your shock paddles into jail. They're yours. You can't just say they're the hospital's shock paddles and any doctor can use them. That's an endless disaster. Who found the shock paddles first? They're yours. If you find them, they're yours. You have to take them to jail or take them directly to a prison if you know how to get there. Otherwise, you take them to jail and you turn them in as evidence. You don't know that about, you shouldn't fire shock paddles if you don't know where to fire the shock paddles. That's illegal. Well, I'm not going to help you with that. I'm deceased right here. That's all I can do is decease myself. But you make threats to me about shock paddles, I actually can't eat them. Where's my money? Who hired you? Who sent you? Because you spent my money. You spent my money for 20 years hospitalizing myself, trying to get shock paddles on myself. 20 years of attempted attacking shock paddles on myself in any hospital I happen to be in because I don't have any keys to live in at all. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Because I am myself deceased right here, none higher than he. The creator of myself is deceased right here. That means you tried to kill me with myself. Yeah, but you did it for money. You had some reason you were eating it. And you were going nowhere. You were just so angry. You made me live a life of hunger and disgrace. I'm going out of my female genitals another way. Do you know that Jesus is not Jesus Christ? If he's Jesus Christ and everybody knows the name Jesus Christ, there are two of him. There's one of him that looks like the body that was hanging on the cross, crucifixion, and there's another one of him that is a baby with no genitals, because he'd need a birthday to be in view of all the males with a penis that are telling everyone they have a birthday. That means Jesus has a birthday, and he would be a baby because he's not driving a car. He would be a baby with no genitals because he doesn't have a penis. You don't have that paid for. Jesus is definitely not both, including there are other threatening, but that's what I'm saying here. That's wrong to me right here. I was hungry. I just interrupted my own silence. I'm a little bit hasty here. I was hungry because I've poured this cereal and now I have cold milk. And the last time I had cold milk, I let it turn to room temperature and I went to the fridge just now and I got another one that's cold. And I'm not really ready to eat right now. No, I'm a little upset. And I don't actually want the milk to get warm again. I want to just use it now because the milk is cold, but I don't want to eat just yet because I am a little anxious. So I'll move this cereal. But I just moved itself. It is, I need it, and I did that to itself. I need the cereal. I need this to walk. I need this for my hunger. I need this so I can make the videos. I need food, like day after day, more and more food. I need this. And I just picked up the bowl and moved it out of my way. And that's not true. I can afford to do that to itself. I would be someone who would need to be finding the food is ready for me. And I've been having to get food for myself, or I have seen the food served to myself, such as in a restaurant. And I don't afford the motions on my hunger. I didn't really come this way to be here to eat. I came as none higher than he deceased, and I'm none higher than me deceased right here. But I didn't come to eat. I came for my house because it was Jesus who broke my house. And somebody wanted to know if I wanted to eat while I was here, and I did not. And I'm not yourself. And you put me through a deceasement of my life out of my female genitals. So I am deceased out of my female genitals. That's me who's doing that. But you did not resist it, not even an inch. And I have threats on me that you don't understand, that you gluttoned my own food to myself and you went into hells that don't exist in karma, which is that you would see shock paddles in a hospital in a city. That's the wrong problem for that you're comfortable in a car. And that's because you stole somebody's comfortable car. You have stolen cars. You don't know how to stay out of these problems. I know it's about to come to a close because I'm me. I am deceasing myself, and I'm deceasing the formed world, and I will see the formed world's karma in the afterlife when I'm no longer in female genitals. So you wouldn't be looking at me and seeing the afterlife. You'll be looking at the afterlife and seeing me in another form. I will be in a Godhead that is really God that has no genitals. From your point of view here, I have genitals here. After this, in the afterlife, it's not formed with genitals. The Godhead. Mm-mm.